Hey, today I want to take a look at the eZV2000S Portable Inverter Generator from Energizer Generators. Now the folks over at Midland Power, they're the manufacturer of the Energizer line of generators. They reached out to me recently and asked if I'd be willing to do a review and do some testing on this new small generator. And I agreed because I was really curious, since this particular one, they're pricing it at just above $500, about $525 on Amazon. And that's kind of at the low end of other generators in this class. So, you know, these smaller generators are really useful and they're really versatile, you know, especially for general camping or if you have a smaller rig or just want to do some tailgating. And I wanted to really see what it could do at that price point. 10 on. This is for. Oh. Now, my particular use for a small generator like this is going to be primarily for some auxiliary battery charging on my RV. Because when the sun's out, or there's a storm coming, or it's cloudy, I'm not getting a lot of solar power from my solar panels. So in order to get a charge into my batteries, I need some sort of auxiliary source of power, and a small generator like this is really useful because it'll use a lot less gas and it's a lot quieter than my onboard larger 4,000 watt generator on my RV. So yeah, let's take a closer look and let's get this sucker fired up and see what it can do. Okay, so I still need to put some gas in it and some oil and oil up the filter before we fire this thing up. But before I did that, I wanted to just share some initial observations with you regarding the specs for this generator. Now, for all intents and purposes, this is not really a 2,000 watt generator. So you don't want to really put something on this that is gonna give you a 2,000 watt load. That's really the peak level, and the actual running power level here, output, is 1,600 watts. So when that's running unthrottled, it's gonna be running at 1,600 watts. And it actually says in the instructions that you shouldn't run it up to 2,000 for more than 30 minutes. That's max, and then it'll probably throw a little fault. But one thing about that, though, that I noticed is that it also has an AC breaker here for 15 amps. So if I'm running at 120 volts of AC, and so if I have something that's drawing 120 volts at 15 amps, that's actually, if you do the math, 1,800 watts. So will it actually even get up to 2,000 watts? I don't know. I'm thinking 1,800, but anyway, initial observation there. Also, it runs for about 11 and a half hours, it says, and it takes about just a little under a gallon of gas. And it says it'll run at 11 and a half hours on a quarter power, so 25%. Now, if you were to run it at 1,600 watts, which is the maximum power, it says it'll run for just over 4 hours. And it also has an eco mode, so that's pretty handy. So what that'll do is it'll, if you have eco mode enabled, it'll throttle it down to actually match the load of whatever you got plugged into it, whatever it's drawing. So it's not going to be running at 1,600 watts all the time. You want to switch that to eco mode, so it'll actually just throttle it down, and you'll save a lot of gas that way, and run longer. So finally, it also has a DC capability, so it has a DC output. It actually comes with a little DC cord here that can plug in there. And the thing about the DC, though, is that you can use it to power or charge a battery or do something like that, but it has a maximum output of 5 amps. So 5 amps at 12 volts DC is not a lot, but it should be enough to do a nice slow charge on a battery. It also weighs about 44 pounds. So I'm gonna put some oil and gas in it, and we'll get this sucker fired up. Okay, so for gas, it says not to use anything less than 91 octane unleaded fuel. So I went ahead and got some premium gas from the gas station. And also it says that you shouldn't use anything that has over 10% of ethanol in it. Another thing to note is that the gas cap here, this is kind of a nice feature. It's a venting cap, but you can turn it on and off. So right now it's off. I can rotate this to on, and then it'll vent, and you can also turn it off. So that's going to be really useful for storing it, especially if you keep it in a car or in some sort of storage compartment. You're not going to be venting fumes out while you store it. And there's also a filter in here, so there's a fuel filter built right in. Okay, in order to get to the oil, you're going to have to turn the sucker around, and there's an access panel on the back. And they've even thrown in a little screwdriver here. Comes right off. So pretty difficult to get this off. It's could be a little bit easier. Kind of feels like you're gonna break it, but I guess you just pull harder. So here's my oil. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and fill that up. They've given you a nice little filling plastic container here to be able to easily fill this oil. And it takes, it says 0.35 liters, so that's what, 350 milliliters. And looks like this container goes up to 220, so maybe a little bit more than this container. Now it also takes 10W30 motor oil. All right, pretty close to full. Okay, the last thing we need to do is to actually oil the air filter. It's behind this compartment here, behind this panel. Okay, so here's the air filter. This little spongy thing. I don't want to get all messy, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little oil in this Ziploc bag, and that should make this job a little bit easier. I'm gonna put a little bit extra oil in there, and then I should be able to just put this filter in there, close it up. All right. I'm gonna put it back in, and that should be ready to go. All right, let's go start this sucker up, take it outside. Okay, so it fired up pretty quickly, and right now it's on eco mode, and you can hear me, I'm just standing right next to it talking to you. So running pretty quietly here on eco mode. Now obviously there's no load on it right now, but I'm going to switch it off of eco mode to so it should be at full power. Just using this green switch here. So revved up a little bit, and so this is running at full power. Still not really loud. Still have a conversation. I think I haven't played this back yet, but I can hear myself. All right. Okay, I'm gonna try a space heater. This is yeah, just a dual mode, just ceramic space heater. And to see what kind of power I'm getting, I'm gonna hook it up through this meter. Turn it on low, see how that goes. Alright, so the eco mode revved up a little bit. So right now now this is reading 770 watts. I'm gonna go ahead and switch the heater to a high and see what happens. Okay, so that caused the generator to kind of rev up. Okay, so right now it surged up to about 1600 watts, and then it went down to about 1400, and now it's about 1380. So. Okay, I've disconnected the RV from shore power, and I'm going to go ahead and see what we can power from the generator here. Now, my RV has a 30 amp plug for my shore power plug, and as I mentioned before, the maximum output of the generator is 15 amps at 120 volts AC. So I'm going to use an adapter right here, my little dog bone, to go from my 30 amp plug to my 15 amp plug. I'm going to plug everything in through this inline gauge that you saw me use earlier. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire this up, and we'll plug her in. Okay, I got the power on, got my fuel on, vent cap is on. So since we just had this running, I'm gonna see if I can just pull it and start it without the choke. So I'll leave the choke in. There we go. Plug it in. So it's just drawing about 3 amps right now. Let's go inside and turn some things on. Okay, inside the RV, you can see the generator out there. You can actually hear it a little bit too. Alright, so first thing, let's go ahead and turn on the refrigerator on electric. So, I don't know, it should draw probably about 6 amps. Not sure. Just gonna turn it on auto. Okay, heard the generator rev up a little bit. Let's go see what that did. Okay, so that's about 475 watts. Let's see what else we can do. On. Listen for it. Oh. Yeah, that did it. You hear that generator out there working? The electric water heater running and the refrigerator on electric mode running, and we'll see what we got. Okay, so that should be about the max for this generator. It's about 1600 watts. Okay, for this last test here, I'm going to try to actually run my air conditioner. Now, I don't think it's going to work, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. Now, the air conditioner, I'm actually not sure how much that draws, but I have my refrigerator and the water heater turned back off. I'm going to zoom in on the gauge here while I turn that on to see what that does. Let's try the AC. All right, here we go. Nope. Okay, not enough, because I know there's a big surge on the AC that's gonna surge as soon as it starts, so maybe without some sort of like a easy start or soft starter. That's gonna be next. I'll try that with this generator, but it looks like without it, No AC on this sucker. All right, let's head back in the shop and I'll give you some final thoughts. Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, some final thoughts on this guy. I think overall I really like it. So if I were to give it some pros and cons, I like the fact, let's start with the pros. I like the fact that it's going to be really portable. So, you know, I might carry it in my car or tow car, so it's nice that I can actually shut off the vent here on the gas cap, and I can turn off the fuel supply here, so while I'm storing it, I'm not gonna have to worry about any fuel venting or flowing around. What I would suggest is, if, you know, before I would do that, I would probably run it dry from while it's running. I would just turn the fuel supply off and let it kind of starve the carburetor, just so there's no fuel left in the reservoir there either. But yeah, other than that, I like it. It runs really smooth. And what I would probably use it for is to charge my batteries in the RV, and I would probably just connect it right through my main shore power connector, and let my smart multi-stage converter charger in the RV charge my battery bank, instead of just clipping it right to my batteries. So that way I'll get a better charge out of my deep cycle batteries. But yeah, I think those are the pros. If I were to throw out some cons on this generator, it would probably be the rear panel here. You know, the rear panel, it's kind of a pain to remove when you have to change oil and do stuff. I mean, obviously it comes off okay, but you really have to yank on it to get it off, and it feels like you're breaking it when you're actually taking it off. So once you unscrew these, you know, the locking tabs that hold this in are really kind of they really hold it well. So I don't know if there's a different way you could do that. Energizer and Midland Power, that'd be great. The other things I would say I wish it had, so I wish it had some sort of digital readout so I could tell how many watts are currently being drawn. And also it'd be nice if it had somewhere, maybe there is, I couldn't find it, but some sort of runtime meter, so I could tell, you know, for maintenance purposes, how long it's been running, so I can change the oil and do all the things that I'm supposed to do at periodic intervals. The break-in period for this is 20 hours, but I have no way of really knowing when I reach 20 hours, so I guess I'll just use my watch, you know, or guess before I have to change the oil again. After that, I think it's like every 100 or so. So I would just recommend just doing it once a year. That's probably what I'll do. Just change the oil out and do that servicing. Other than that, I should also point out that this particular model is not designed to be paralleled with another generator, so you can't just hook multiple generators together. If you need to do that, there's another P model, which is the eZV2000P, I believe, and that one is designed to be paralleled with another generator. It runs a little bit more expensive, another 150 bucks or so, but just to let you know, that's not necessarily a con or a drawback. It's just not designed to do that. And but yeah, so for a 15 amp portable generator, runs smooth, I would definitely recommend it for the price. And yeah, I like it. So I'd like to thank Energizer Generators, Midland Power, for providing this so I can do this review and share it with you guys. I'll drop a link in the description if you guys want to pick one of these up on Amazon. And if you guys like this type of review, let me know in the comments, because I'm starting to accept a few reviews now. I get requests to do them all the time, but I usually turn them down. So I'm trying to find stuff that's actually really relevant. So if there's anything you guys are interested in seeing reviews on, let me know in the comments, and I'll look for those things, and we can, you know, publish some more reviews here on the channel. But yeah, if you're not subscribed, by the way, make sure you subscribe so you can kind of see more videos like this coming out, as well as a bunch of other stuff. But I will tell you, I got a couple of cool reviews coming up. Other than that, I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.